There are quite a number of issues in journalism that a lot of people are concerned about. One of such is the inability of media organizations to meet obligations of their employees and to finance the growth-related innovations. To discuss this issue with us is Mr. Kayode Ajala, who is also a journalist.
You don't just wake up one morning and say, I'm going to set up a paper. And then you get 3 or 4 or 5 people together.
That's true.
The writing and news gathering side is just an aspect.
Yeah.
There's the marketing, there's the circulation, there's the advert, there's the administration, there's the finances, there's the financial controls, and all that. But most journalists wake up, and I tell you one thing, and this is my own opinion, and I'm damn well entitled to it. Most journalists are not good businessmen. They don't even think of the business side of the venture. All they want to do is to roll out copies, whether it sells or not, whether their books are balanced or not. They don't care. That's a typical journalist for you. And so when you have that kind of situation, you start a paper, you start a venture, you're expecting profits in the next 3 months. Yeah. Of course, you would have planned for profits to roll in the next 3 months.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how far the funds you have can take you. And then after 3 months, you find that rather than you to have profits, you have a huge backlog of debts. Yeah. You can't even pay salaries. So it all boils down to the fact that there are no controlling rules, there are no controlling bodies, there are no regulatory bodies. It's just an all-comers affair. Anybody can do anything they like. Today, most politicians have taken over publishing. Most of the newspapers that we have today are owned by politicians to promote their own interests. And then you come out tomorrow, and these politicians and so-called publishers, the money bags, are the ones who employ these journalists. And then you come out tomorrow to say those journalists must be objective. He who pays the paper dictates the tune. You understand? Yes. So, I mean, these are some of the problems we have. I think for us to move forward, we must have a regulatory body. We must have rules guiding the operations in that industry.
All right, so just before I let you go, let me ask you about online journalism that is actually gaining grounds right now in Nigeria. I mean, we have quite a good example like Sahara Reporters, 234next.com, pointblank.com, and several others. Now, I think these two at the moment is beginning to call for some kind of regulatory bodies, talk about online publishers association and all of that, because I mean we see a lot of reports and all sorts of things just being published online. At the end of the day, a lot of Nigerians pop up and say, come on, why did we have this on paper yesterday? Why did we have it online yesterday? Can't we just get something concrete? What can be done? We really need online publishers association.
Well, what we have going on online right now gives one cause for a lot of concern. Because I just told you now that publishing, the terrain, journalism has become an all-comers affair, right?
Yes.
But what is happening online is even worse. You go online, you see some of the most reckless comments that you can ever find. There are ethics of journalism that we need to respect. But I have had experiences online that tell me that, hey, if we do not act fast, we're going to have a big crisis on our hands in that industry very soon. If I don't like your face, for instance, I don't like your face, and I have been a victim of this. I could go online and start posting things about you. What makes it even worse is that you could be libeled and scandalized and maligned online, and you will not get to know about it.
And it's very fast.
You will not get to know about it. Let me tell you my own experience. About 2 years ago, someone called my attention to an article that had been written about me on the internet. And I rushed to that site to read it. I read it. But to my utmost dismay, I discovered that the comment against me had been posted about 3 years before someone called my attention to it. So you can imagine the number of people who must have read it, and the kind of damage that it must have caused in some quarters because I didn't react to it. So how do you allow such things to go on? There must be regulations, there must be rules controlling these things. I wake up tomorrow morning and I don't like your face, I go on the internet and post something on Facebook or on Sahara Reporters, or there is an argument going on Sahara Reporters about some politicians, and I go there and I just begin to use very abusive and derogatory language on people. That happens a lot on the net.
Yeah.
Very, very abusive, uncouth language, which will ordinarily not be used in day-to-day publications.
Yes.
How do you control language on the net? Some people will call you idiot, stupid, bastard, such hard and derogatory language. And it just goes. And once it goes, it goes. Everybody can read it anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the print media is even more controlled, because newspapers will not write what will land them in trouble in court. You have editors who are charged with that responsibility. There's a certain standard of language that must be used that is acceptable.
Yes.
Who's going to edit that on the internet? Nobody.
Nobody.
You write what you wish, you click the button,
and it goes.
and it goes. So, to that extent, I must tell you that there must be a regulatory body. There must be rules governing the industry. And these rules must be implemented. And people must be made to adhere to these rules if we must have sanity.
All right, so
Yeah.
thank you very much. And on the final note, I know we have the Nigerian Union of Journalism. Now, haven't they been doing anything to control these whole areas that we are talking about, sir?
Well, I'm sure they're doing a lot, but maybe their best is not enough. I think they need to do more.
Okay.
They need to do a whole lot more. A whole lot more. They should focus on these areas. I would love to see, for instance, well put together criteria which you must fulfill before you can publish a paper or a magazine or a newspaper. I want to see well put together rules, standards for who can be a journalist. Must you have a first degree before you can be a journalist? Must you have a postgraduate degree before you can? Minimum standard of education. Must you go through the Institute of Journalism, like the lawyers go through the law school, to have proper training before you will be qualified to practice as a journalist? I mean, I would love to see all this put in place. And then when you put such in place, you will see that there will be a lot of sanity. What qualifies you to be a publisher? Is it just that when you have enough money, you have more money than you know what to do with? Or you are a politician who has made more money than you need? And then you jump into the media because you need the media to manipulate people, to shape the consciousness of people. You understand?
Yes.
And then you start a paper, and then that paper becomes your mouthpiece. And people read what they publish in that paper, and they begin to follow you because you have influenced their thinking through the media. There must be controls. Right now, there are no controls. And, I mean, if you say the NUJ is doing what they're doing, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know if they cannot do that. I think it should be the first thing they should address.
Thank you very much for your time with us.
You're welcome.